Why don't they make robot armadillos? Is it enough to ask the question? For perhaps in asking, the mind creates the very idea, and in so doing, negates the possibility of its physical manifestation. Indeed, that conceptualization can be deemed its full creation, even if the armadillo is never made. However, if the rhetorical was the end point of creation, one must acknowledge the unfulfilled potential in making the implied armadillo. And indeed, is there not an implied decision against the physical embodiment of robot armadillo by retaining it solely in the imagined state of being? Is the presumption of mental formation that the imagined object should indeed exist, because it could just as easily be a lack? Was there, until that question of why, a hole in the universe, unexplored and empty, before there was the potential for the human mind to conceive of the imagined object? Essentially, did the lack of robot armadillos exist as a concept, an unobserved fact like the lack of haftazgfgafat, although now that exists because it has been created simply by speaking the word, like the robot armadillo, but not like the robot armadillo, because the nonsense phrase has been executed to its full extent, a word spoken or written, and the armadillo remains purely in the realm of hypothetical. As this demonstrates, existence is not manifestation, so the problem remains of the original consideration. Why don't they make robot armadillos? Which is not quite the same as why do they not make robot armadillos. It isn't done implies prohibition. No one has done it implies potential for ingenuity. But this brings one no closer to a solution. Is why or how then a more relevant consideration? Why something does or does not happen is open to interpretation and can be answered by a great range of responses, from simply because to for X, Y, Z factor. Indeed, there need not be a why, though Foucault would argue that why is inherent in the power structure, and linguistic theory would argue that the ability to ask why necessitates a why answer. How, though, is even less precise. How is it possible that the robot armadillo is not made implies a swath of philosophical and social concerns. But then, it is an entertaining proposition to consider how it has not been made, how one goes about not building, not creating, or not even thinking of the robot armadillo. That could be expanded upon to no end with lists of daily non-armadillo activities, or by great philosophical tracts on how the lack of creation exists for the one who has not created it. None of these are accurate to the original query at hand, but each may illuminate part of the answer by addressing contributing factors. However, at no stage in this questioning does one actually move closer to the creation of the robot armadillo, a desire so clearly implied in the question itself. That implied lack, indeed desire for, the robot armadillo is at the heart of formulating and then asking the question. For it is only with the desire to contemplate the robot armadillo, even if one rejects such a consideration, that such a question can be asked, and is not the desire to consider the possibility a fractional desire for the robot armadillo itself. Why create the robot armadillo then? I think it would be cute, and I would name mine Dwight.